I began friend-zoning my wife after being rejected for years, and now she's not talking to me. For context, I'm 38, she's 36, and we've been married for 15 years. We have 2 kids, 14 and 11, and for the most part, we get along great. She's my best friend, we laugh together, we parent well together, and I can honestly say I still care about her deeply. But our intimate life has been dead for years. It wasn't always like this. The first 7 or 8 years were amazing. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. Even with young kids and crazy schedules, we made it work. But around 4 years ago, something shifted. She started turning me down constantly. At first, it was once a month, then every 2 months, then basically never unless she initiated, which happened maybe 4 times a year. I tried everything. Planned date nights, she'd cancel because she was too tired. Suggested weekend mornings when the kids were at friends' houses, she'd suddenly need to deep clean closets. Bought her favorite wine, cooked her favorite meals, left work early to help around the house so she'd be less stressed. Nothing worked. Every rejection chipped away at me. I'd lie in bed next to her feeling like a stranger in my own marriage. The worst part? She'd still cuddle me, hold my hand, kiss my cheek, tell me she loved me every day. But the second I tried to take things further, she'd go cold. It felt like living with someone who loved me just enough to keep me around, but not enough to actually want me. I brought it up so many times. She'd always say, "I'm just stressed. Work has been crazy. I'm touched out from the kids. Can we talk about this later?" Later never came. So about 6 months ago, something in me just broke. Not in an angry way, but in a survival way. I realized I had 2 choices. Keep destroying myself by wanting someone who didn't want me back, or train my brain to stop wanting her altogether. I chose option 2. I started treating her exactly like I treat my closest male friends. Friendly, supportive, caring, but zero romantic thoughts. Whenever my mind wandered that direction, I'd shut it down immediately and redirect to something else. At first it was torture, but after a few months, it actually worked. I stopped seeing her as my wife and started seeing her as just my friend and co-parent. During those 6 months, she didn't notice a thing. I was still kind, still helpful, still asked about her day. I just stopped initiating anything physical. Stopped the lingering hugs, the flirty comments, the hopeful glances, and she didn't even register the change. Then last Tuesday happened. I was loading the dishwasher after dinner when she came up behind me, wrapped her arms around my waist, kissed my neck, and whispered, "The kids are going to bed early tonight." It was the most direct she'd been in over a year, and I felt nothing. No excitement, no anticipation, just this weird hollow feeling. I gently moved her arms away and said, "I'm pretty tired tonight, maybe another time," and went to watch TV. The next morning, she tried again. Made my favorite breakfast, wore the dress I used to love, even put on perfume at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. She sat next to me on the couch and put her hand on my thigh. All I could think was how strange it felt, like a performance I wasn't interested in watching. I told her I had yard work planned and needed to get started. The look on her face was complete confusion, but I genuinely just wanted to mow the lawn. That night, I found her crying in our bedroom. When I asked what was wrong, she said, "Do you even love me anymore? You've rejected me twice in 2 days. That's not like you." I sat down next to her and calmly explained everything. How the years of constant rejection made me feel worthless. How I couldn't keep living in that cycle of hope and disappointment. How I'd spent the last 6 months retraining my brain to stop seeing her that way, and it finally worked. I told her I still loved her, still wanted to be married, but I couldn't go back to being the desperate husband waiting for scraps of affection. She absolutely lost it. Started yelling that I was being cruel, that I was punishing her, that this was revenge for all the times she said no. Accused me of having an affair, said there was no way I could just turn off my attraction unless I was getting it somewhere else. I stayed calm and told her I wasn't cheating, wasn't planning to leave, just protecting myself. Then she said, "You're throwing it in my face that I don't want it as much as you do. I can't help the way I am." I looked at her and said, "And I can't help the way I am either. You spent 4 years training me not to want you, and now that it worked, you're upset? You don't get to reject me for years and then be surprised when I stop asking." We argued in circles for 2 hours. She kept saying I was being unfair, that I should have tried harder to communicate. I kept saying I'd communicated for years and nothing changed, that I'm not giving up on the marriage, just on the part that was killing me. Finally, she said, "So what? You're just gonna be my roommate forever? We're going to raise our kids and never be intimate again?" I told her honestly, I don't know, but what I do know is I can't go back to the way things were. That version of me is gone. She hasn't spoken to me in 9 days. She sleeps in the guest room now. The kids have noticed something's wrong, but we're keeping it together for them. I don't know if I did the right thing, but I know I can't unfeel what I've learned to stop feeling.